This is not just another drunk driving case, this is a man who was on the edge of losing everything. We're talking about a near-fatal blood alcohol level, a crash that could have turned deadly, and a life spiraling out of control. But here's the twist before the court could force him. He made a move that might have saved his own life. Rehab, treatment, and a complete turnaround. The real question is this genuine change? Or just damage control to avoid serious consequences? And more importantly, should the court reward effort or punish the risk he created? Let's break this down.
I was happy to see Mr. Peters looking a lot different than he did last time.
Yes, he did, didn't he? He looked like he was on death's door. Amazing what 90 days or more of sobriety can start to do. Mr. Parr, good morning.
Morning.
Or Mr. Farr. You're here with your lawyer, Mr. Ross Truckee. Daniel Frazine drew this assignment. He seems to get all of our veteran cases because he's an Air Force veteran. And Angelique Canfield is here also. You are in a hole and you want to dig your way out of it. We got very high, near fatal levels of blood alcohol level here. Mr. Truckee, what would you like me to know?
Well, the attitude is the big thing in this case, Your Honor. Mr. Farr and I had very regular telephone contact, often in off hours when I was first assigned here. And it was clear that there was a crisis going on. And some of the things they didn't make a lot of sense. There was a lot of stuff he was processing with a recent divorce or separation. And the alcohol had its hand around his throat. And he was able to get involved with Stoney. I think he'd been participating with Stoney Summey in the Veterans Affairs Office, but Mr. Summey and his staff were very supportive, and they got him placed in a 90-day treatment through the VA in Battle Creek, which allowed for A, drying out to happen, but also B, some medication and counseling to address underlying mental health difficulties that had been self-medicated by the excessive amounts of hard liquor drinking. So I've seen a great change in Camden here. He was always very intelligent, but now he's able to point that intelligence somewhere good instead of looping it back around into anxiety spirals that were going through him. So I think that, Mr. Frazine's report's very accurate, and the final paragraph is telling that this is exactly what I needed, because otherwise nothing was going to put the brakes on this addiction. So I think this will be a start to a new positive trajectory, and we'd ask that the recommendation be adopted with the option for early dismissal should appropriate progress be made. I think Cannon will be a great probationer for Dan. Thank you.
I'm always appreciative when people have the availability of veterans services. They are very helpful. The VA in all over the country, but ours in Battle Creek has got some specific veteran related treatment. A lot of our veterans struggle with substance abuse issues and PTSD issues. And so that's a valuable resource, which doesn't cost anything. And you went in there willingly. I didn't order you to go there. And you did something before you did the 90-day program, didn't you?
Yes, I did 14 days in the inpatient treatment.
And then got out and then did 90 days in the secondary program.
Yes, Your Honor.
When did you get out of that program?
That was, January. Yeah, I think it was like early January.
All right, and you've been maintaining your aftercare since that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, your blood alcohol was 3. At 3.2, they have to take you to the hospital. But we can tell when someone's got that high of a blood alcohol level, there's a serious issue. But regardless of that, they did reduce this to impaired driving. So it would allow you to keep a restricted license. Daniel, you had a good look at this. I'll ask you and then we'll go to Angelique. You're recommending a 24-month probation, which means he could complete it after 12. In the light of the fact he was 104 days inpatient, you're deferring any jail time.
Yes, Your Honor. I've had the advantage of knowing Cannon for quite a while. He used to work for me back in my Cobalt days. And he's been struggling for a lot of years. And I think a lot of his issues come from stuff that happened to him when he was a child. And that's a long process. And I think he's still dealing with it. Cannon's also very smart. And sometimes he thinks he's smarter than everybody else. After having our conversation, he's taken this very, very seriously. But I do think he still has and could easily slip down in that hole very, very easily and very hard at it again. And we had a long conversation. He doesn't disagree. He needs more help, and this is going to be a battle he's going to have to fight for a while. And that's why I look at, plus with a 3.0, he just bumped a pole at a gas station, but that could have been a person. It could have been easily serious.
Well, and he was going somewhere else.
And
He was
that-
gonna
yes.
get out on the public
So
roadway.
I thought, at first I thought, well, he's done a lot, and I was thinking of 12, but I really think at this point, a 24-month probation and deferring any jail days. This is first drunk driving, and he has been going to treatment, and I have spoke to his counselor and as well as VA reps here today, Jared, and we all agree that definitely monitoring and regular weekly testing is appropriate here. So,
All right. With all of that, Ms. Canfield, anything else you wish to add?
I too am concerned about the high blood alcohol level, but it seems that he has acknowledged that he has a significant alcohol dependency, and that did also run in the family. I do believe that the recommendations are appropriate. He's very fortunate that he was able to get a reduction and that this didn't come in as a high VAC citation instead of just an OWI first. And usually, had I been at this pretrial, I would not have reduced it. So I'm glad that he did inpatient and intensive outpatient and that he's still engaging in services. It appears they are desperately needed. It's unfortunate that this rock bottom had to occur before he recognized the significance of his dependency. But in a way, it's almost a blessing that it did, because he's now doing what is necessary to save his life and his health, as well as to protect the community. I do think the recommendations are appropriate. I would add $145 of police reimbursement. Somehow that had been missed, but it was in the report and was requested. Again, I do want to give him accolades for getting himself into the treatment that was necessary. I'm glad that he did that, but I would like to have one of the orders of probation be that there needs to be a release signed so that Mr. Frazine can check on the progress through those programs, ensure that the defendant is still engaging in them. In addition to anything else, he would request that he complete as well. And other than that, I think everything else is as I would have requested from the court. Now, typically, my concern in this particular report was he didn't just back into the pool. I read the report, and the individual who witnessed it indicated that he was spinning and burning his tires as if he was still trying to move the vehicle, and that could have been far worse. I mean, if he was able to get through the post, he could have gotten to the actual gas pump, and there could have been an explosion.
Yes.
I mean, so that's very concerning, but he's getting the help that he needs is the end result, which is excellent. So I'd ask the court follow the recommendations, and just with those amendments that he provide those releases so that the mental health component can still be monitored as well by Mr. Frazine.
Yeah, this could have been
And that's the TRPD at 145, Your Honor.
All right.
We don't dispute that. They're sued as well.
All right, you look good. You're US Marine Corps, who those guys generally look sharp, yes sir, no sure. They know how to follow orders, they know how to do what needs to be done. But with a substance abuse addiction, you don't just turn it on and off like a switch. Now, are you still working at Adapt?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so you live in Three Rivers, you work in Sturgis, that may be why the prosecutor agreed to the impaired. I can do whatever I need to do within the parameters of this, but I'm gonna order a 24-month probation, 12 days jail, credit 2. Of the 10 days, all 10 are deferred for your participation, cooperation with your probation department. There's a $300 fine, a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, a $100 screening fee, 150.
He does have a substance abuse assessment. I just haven't gotten a copy of it yet, but I did confirm that with the counselor.
I will make it 50. Probation oversight fee of $960, but if you do it in a year, it'll take $480 off that. $145 reimbursement to the police department, and a $32 victim impact panel. Let's add all that up. 200 plus 125 plus 100 plus 50 plus 960 plus 145 plus 32 is 1612. You post a $200 of bond, at least 1412.
Your Honor, is there a court-appointed attorney?
Yeah, $150. Let me see if I did it right. 300 plus 125 plus 50 screening fee plus 150 court-appointed attorney plus 960 plus 145 plus 32 is 1762. I guess I left out 150, Angelique. Minus 200. $1,562. Again, if we subtract 480 from that, it's about $1,082. That's 2 in 1 year. All right, you're going to do the victim impact panel. You're going to abstain from alcohol, substance abuse counseling and treatment as directed. You're going to sign a release so we can review that. I wish we had more people that had the availability to do a 90-day inpatient program. In the early days of my career, we had a place called Myrtle House, which had a 90-day inpatient program. That's ancient history. Nobody's got a 90-day program. They're 14 days or 30 days. It's as a result of the expense. I'm not sure 90 days is long enough, but it's sure a good start. So you did 14 days plus the 90 plus the aftercare. And life doesn't have to be so terrible if you can keep alcohol out of the equation. At some point, right now you've got stable housing. At some point, maybe you'd like to get your own place, but one step at a time. I'm sorry we were late with this, but we had a lot to do today. Did you get your unwelcome lodger out of the house?
Unwelcome lodgers. Yes.
Maybe it's a different situation. There was a lady there that didn't have any status there.
Okay.
Apparently that's not an issue here. All right, you got a good attitude. You've done some heavy lifting already. You want to get better. You got a job where you help people who need help, who are less able than you are. And that's an important purpose. And sometimes I find that people help themselves by helping somebody else. So you're in a position now where you're healthier and you can help the people that need some help. That ought to be some additional motivation to follow through on this. Like I said, it doesn't have to be so terrible. You got a large gift from the prosecutor. Maybe Mr. Truckee twisted their arm real hard. I don't.
What we just witnessed is a powerful example of how the justice system can balance accountability with rehabilitation. On one hand, the defendant made a dangerously reckless decision driving with an extremely high blood alcohol level and putting lives at risk. On the other hand, he took significant steps toward recovery before being ordered to do so, completing both inpatient and long-term treatment programs. The judge ultimately chose structured probation over jail time, emphasizing supervision, accountability, and continued recovery. This reflects a broader legal principle when genuine effort is shown. Courts may lean toward rehabilitation instead of pure punishment. But here's something to think about. Would you have made the same decision if you were the judge? Should early effort reduce consequences in cases that could have turned deadly? If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button. Share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.